guys, for being here, though. Okay, let's get it rolling. All right, we're rocking and rolling. Okay, let's get into it. All right, people. Let me make sure. Okay, we muted. Let's make sure our audio is not too. Okay, all right. Music is not drowning us out. Okay, guys, let's get into the stream now and let's talk about my reaction to whatever this was, because this was not. I don't think anybody, and even huge Hoosier fans. I don't think they predicted and thought that the Hoosiers could beat the Ducks by 30. Gosh, what was the total? Like, I think everybody stopped paying attention to what the score was by the end here, because it was not close. Okay, let's up here. There we go. There we go. 56-22. Why am I not good with simple math here? 56-22. You're going to make me pull out the old calculator. All right, here we go. 30. Oh, shit. 34 effing points. 34 effing points. This was this was something else. This was not, I didn't expect this at all. I didn't think that this is how this game would go. If you ask me, I made a prediction. I thought that this game was definitely going to be a lot closer than it was. I had, for my initial prediction, with just kind of how the college playoff was going at the time, I was like, this is too perfect for Indiana, like, to just be the 1 seed and just ride all the way out to it. And so after predicting Indiana to get there against Georgia, and then Georgia ended up losing to Ole Miss, and we had our Final Four set, I kind of retwisted it because I was like, this is too perfect. Something's going to get in the way. Oregon's going to get in the way. Or, I mean, for a hot second there, I thought Bama, but then I came to my senses before kickoff, because it's like, no. But with how this things go, and the storybook continues, and it showed tonight. Now, one thing I think I think it's going to get forgotten. It's going to be lost because of how this game ended up turning out, with how much of a blowout it was. One thing we can't deny that happened, that we saw tonight, was the fact that Oregon spotted them 21 points. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think they spotted them even more, because you go look at the turnovers. Turnovers alone cost Oregon the game. How many? Gosh. First off, we started with the pick six. So let's get that out of the way. Hold on, I'm gonna put some headphones on to look a little sillier. But so first play of the game, you're spotting the Hoosiers 7, pick 6 to the crib. Not exactly how Oregon wanted to start, which, I mean, I made jokingly, for my Big Ten prediction, this is what I predicted the Ohio State Indiana game would start out. I was like, what if to start out the game, Mendoza or Julian Sain throw a pick 6, because both quarterbacks, they'd kind of been tested, but not tested to the severity of what tonight happened with Dante Moore. Because, oh my goodness, you want to talk about a test? There's definitely a test tonight, and it started with the first play of the game, going pick 6. So you have that. So there's that. Okay, whatever. Shake it off. Because personally, I do think that Oregon. No, not Oregon. I think Oregon. Personally, I do think that Oregon shaked it off from the beginning too, because you look at what kind of like transpired after. Oregon went right back down and made it 7-7. But then when, we get a little bit further into the game with how the game's progressing and going, there was also the blocked field goal was at the very end of the game. But then you had that crucial, critical fumble. The fumble play where How many drives started, whether it was a fumble or it was the pick six? There were so many drives where Indiana started inside the 15, like inside the 5, inside the 15. Like it was bad, super bad. Which, in fact, here, let me pull up. Where's our stat aficionado here? Pull it up here. Okay, look at this turnover. Oh, okay, so it wasn't 4, it was 3. But look at this. 40 seconds left. What the? Oh, they fixed it. 1 yard run. Yep, this was right after the fumble. What happened? Where was Surratt? So Surratt's touchdown. Where was what? Why am I not remembering what was? Because there's the fumble. There's the fumble, and then the pick six, and then there was one more critical turnover. Oh, yes. The sack fumble. Yes. The sack fumble, because the nose tackle, when it showed the aerial view of how the play transpired, the nose tackle, which I will say too, the Hoosiers defensive line, they just got after the Ducks, and both lines had been really good all season. But it showed the aerial view and how the play broke down. The nose tackle slid over all the way, like the stunt. He went over to the tackle side, and everybody shifted down. And because the DN crashed in, the linebacker came free, and then that's when he got the hit on Dante Moore and forced the fumble. I totally forgot. Yep, right here. And then again, the fumble turned right back around, touchdown. I'm breaking it down. Here we go. Yeah, I forgot there was the two fumbles, because we knew the one that went off the running back when he was throwing it. I forgot about the sack fumble, but yeah, no, the defense for IU just freaking. Oh gosh, they just freaking got after it. And then the other thing too, when you look at it, okay, keeping them in check, punt, but then from the turnovers there in the second quarter, that flipped. Because I'm gonna be honest, this game virtually was over by halftime. But then from there, look at how many straight touchdowns. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 straight touchdowns. From the first time they punt, where it was 17-14, by the next time the Ducks are able to get a defensive stop and get them to punt the ball again, scores 15-42. Like, this was over. This game was over. It was bad. Ryan Williams or Jeremiah Smith? Give me Jeremiah Smith. I think I even would think that last year too. I think Smitty did not have. No. Williams, he did not have a good season this year. He wasn't even the top receiver on his own team. Like, Bernard played better than him in some games, and then even what's his name? Number 1. Can't think of his name off the top of my head. Let's go here to roster. He just hit the portal. Teams. Where's the SEC? Oh, it's over here. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6. They have 6 quarterbacks. And then Simpson's going to declare for the draft, but we'll see, because Carson Beck declared for the draft. Cam Ward declared for the draft, but then both of them came back and played one more year. So, um, Isaiah Horton. Right now, he's currently in the portal. Yeah, he had more of a productive season than Williams did. I think Bama's struggles though was more. It was more than just Ryan Williams not having a breakout season like he did. Like, and in turn, also, like, I think the same kind of thing could happen to also to oh my gosh, why am I blanking on his name? The phenomenal freshman from Miami, number 10. Why am I blanking on his name? I've give me 3 seconds. Why the hell can I not think of his name? Tony, yeah, he had the one with the touchdown there at the very end of the game. Malachi Tony, where it should be right here. There it is. Look at that, freshman. Dude's a freaking freshman. I would say now, fun fact: if you want to look at it and kind of go like stat for stat, okay, who had a better true freshman season out of Malachi Tony and Ryan Williams? I'd argue Malachi Tony, but again, you'd have to break it down a little bit more stat for stat because I don't know, it's hard to compare because Williams had a good enough year where I mean there was talks that he could be the top draft pick this past season, top talent in the wide receiver position and all that, but yeah. Okay, let's continue, guys. Let's continue talking about how this game played out. So then we had the early pick six. Oregon scores back. Where personally for me, what made me think, okay, we got a game here, and this could be something special, was this particular touchdown here with Becker. I think one thing where I will give credit a little bit with Oregon is the fact that when like, how do I say this? It's hard, like it truly is hard to assess kind of how the game went overall with the turnovers, because I don't know. I'm thinking the Becker, and that was the other thing too, is Becker had a touchdown, Surratt had a touchdown, Cooper had a touchdown. Every single, do not get me wrong, like freaking the Hoosiers offense was making Oregon's defense work all stinking game. I think some other things that will be forgotten too is the fact that what if, hear me out on this one, if Oregon had a healthy their healthy starting backs in it, because Whittington did not play, James did not play, like they had their fifth and their sixth string running backs in there for the game. And the other thing too, because you saw it there in the first quarter especially, and in the first half, like the ball kept going to him. It was number 22. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but there were, whether it was a running play or just a dink and dunk pass play over the middle or something more, kept hitting him. Here, which in fact, let's pull it up. Let's pull up his name. Let's go find it. I think Dean. I think his last name's Dean. Because again, he's a player that came in today. Because the other, where is he? Harris? Number 22, Harris. Yeah, he got the ball so many times in the first quarter and in the second quarter, because it's kind of what got Oregon to settle down after the snowball that started in the first quarter. Because, he helped march them down the field before Oregon was able to cap off that second drive with a touchdown. But then after that, they stopped going to him. I don't think he wasn't the running back when the fumble happened. I think that fumble went off of. Okay, no, this is the fumble recovery when he got sacked. And then this is the fumble. Yep, this must be the fumble that it was the it was a second back because they were running a two back system tonight that did not. Yeah, I think after that second fumble, and then when they turned it around, and they had this touchdown, which by the way, this was this was Mendoza's second touchdown of the game. So Mendoza's second touchdown of the game that made it 28-7. This is when the game was virtually over. I'm trying to see. I don't remember. Oregon missed that field goal from Sappington? Oh my gosh. I didn't even notice that. I did not even notice he missed that field goal. Hello, that's some great sports journalism by me, having no clue that the field goal was no good. All right, let's keep it rolling, guys. Let's keep it rolling. But then, what were some other big things that happened in this game? I think not only with Mendoza's ability, cool crazy stat to talk about too is the fact that Mendoza had more touchdowns than incompletions in this game as well. And that to me, because there's parts of me when watching this game where I thought, okay, Oregon can definitely, if Oregon can settle into this game, they can fight back. Considering just wait till Oregon starts to even out some of the turnover margin, with the 21 points that Indiana got after Mendoza, because Mendoza threw 6 touchdowns tonight. I don't think any quarterback has thrown 6 touchdowns in the Peach Bowl since Joe Burrow, if I'm not mistaken. Like, he had a hell of a game. Like, yeah, the Surratt touchdown, Becker's touchdown, Cooper's touchdown. There's the long one where the receiver had to extend out to go get it. That one was deep in the third quarter or in the fourth quarter. After that, the other thing too that can't be ignored is just the momentum swing point wise of when you look and you see that after they missed that field goal, so we have, I would say, this middle third here of halfway through the second quarter and in the third quarter, like even going up to the box score here, 28 points in the span of about 10 minutes game time was really what turned this game completely, because the 2 fumbles both turned into touchdowns. And then Mendoza and Indiana also had their own long drive that went up for a touchdown. I think this was the Becker touchdown on this drive. Let me double check. Nope, this was the Black touchdown. Yes. That's the one on the goal line. So then which one's the long ball? Becker. Yep, Becker was the 36-yarder. So then the second one. But then with Indiana getting the ball to start the second half, continuing, look at this. It jumps from 7 to 28 to 42 to 7. Like, again. And the other thing too is this first drive for Indiana took up 6 minutes. So since the fumble that turned into a touchdown and then the missed field goal drive, because this was with 50 something second, like under a minute, Oregon probably real time from halftime to that touchdown, and then when they come back out to make it 15 to 42, Oregon probably hadn't seen the field or ran an offensive play in probably real time 40 minutes roughly. I will admit I was a little bit behind because I had dinner before the game started. Okay, what else here? Turnover run downs, and then look at this. By the time, okay, Indiana scores 5 straight touchdowns. Look at this. The second half. I mean, again, we're talking about moral victories, kind of like how I was with Ole Miss the other day. Punt, punt. You know, they held them to some punts, and then you could see they got a touchdown here. And then also, since the second quarter, they had to go for it on every single fourth down to try to get back into the game. What touchdown was this? Yeah, Black had 2 touchdowns. See, that's how dominant Mendoza's game was tonight, that you forget that Black had 2 rushing touchdowns. Oh, he didn't have 6, he had 5. My bad. That's what's crazy too, is it wasn't a huge yard performance like Trinidad or Carson Beck the other day. Like, the quarterback who had more passing yards was more like, it was only 177, but it was an efficient 177. And that's no hate either. Like, there was seriously, like, it just from the get-go and from the jump, this was Indiana's game. It was ugly. But I thought, there's parts of me that thought that Oregon could have fought back in this game. Just considering some of the games that I've watched of Oregon this year, where either they've been tied or down, they've gotten back into the game. When these two teams played earlier, the mental mistakes, and this is one thing that I will say kind of had a difference in this game versus the last time when these two teams played each other, is the mental mistakes that took a toll in the first time that they played. They didn't happen till much, much, much later in the game. So when Moore was throwing his interceptions, they happened in the fourth quarter. That led to the touchdowns and the field goals to seal the 10-point win for Indiana. But then this time around, they happened right at the jump. That spotted Indiana 3-touchdown lead. But again, I'm not gonna hate. They absolutely kicked ass. Their defense played phenomenal as well tonight. That was one thing that people thought coming in, is that their defense would get after it. I'm interested to see. Considering that Ole Miss and their defense was able to get after Carson Beck. I'm interested to see how much Miami's offensive line can protect Beck, and vice versa. Can Indiana's line hold on to Miami to, prevent any injury to Mendoza or any serious struggles of, okay, we can't get the running game going, because I don't know. I thought the same thing for Ole Miss and going into the Ole Miss game, but Ole Miss found a way. They were able to have a pretty decent, solid running game in that game. I think another player that had a big game too for Oregon, Johnson as well. He didn't quit for the whole game. And I think too, with the offense, if we're trying to count some victories, I think an issue that Oregon might have had for the whole game is they didn't get. I don't remember or recall Benson getting involved in the game at all. I don't recall Sadiq getting involved in the game until way late. Again, I think after the multiple fumbles, I think that second quarter is what sealed it, signed, sealed, and delivered, and then it was just a slow burn for the rest of the game. But I will say this too, I'm not looking at this game kind of like how I look at the Notre Dame Ohio State game, where if Notre Dame had a little bit more time, maybe they would have come back. I think with how dominant Indiana was in that second half and taking advantage of, because I think statistically, I'll have to look at it again because I don't know it off the top of my head. I will admit that. I think points off of turnovers, I think the number one team is Indiana. And they are the team that would take advantage of the second you give us the ball, we're going to score a touchdown. And it showed tonight, obviously. And even on some of the plays too, the one play, and again, because with the flow of how this game was going, I don't think it was truly over truly over until that first touchdown coming out in the third quarter for Indiana. That really did put it away and put it to a 4 touchdown lead. Is even in plays where it's breaking down, and we have like this wild sequence as well. Guess who got this fumble? Mendoza. And guess who turned what looked like a fumble recovery into a positive play? Mendoza. And I think, I mean, if you want to do a little bit of comparison on not the luck side, but kind of just how, okay, the ball bounces the right way. Here we go. Is this exact same sequence and play happened in the Orange Bowl against the Red Raiders, and Morton ended up fumbling that ball, and it was Uiagalelei that took it down, marched it, punched it into the end zone. And kind of funny enough, I don't remember if I talked about this in the stream the other day, where I talked about Oregon being able to just capitalize on turnovers, and that's how they beat the Red Raiders. And like for it to turn and the same exact, like this is how Oregon beat Texas Tech, it's how Oregon loses to Indiana. I don't know if I talked about that, but the fact that that is how it turned out, I think is pretty funny. But not funny in a different way. Not like funny ha-ha. Funny weird, where it's kind of, yeah, you live by the turnover, you die by the turnover. So, oh wow. Dante Moore, some things that people were talking about coming into this game is everybody was talking about the QB prospects on, okay, who's going to be the number 1 overall, who's going to eventually get drafted by the Raiders, and we'll see where their career goes from there. People were talking about how Dante Moore could be the number 1 overall pick. And if we're looking at potential prospects, sorry, keep messing with it. If we're looking at potential prospects, Dante Moore is up there, Mendoza's up there, Ty Simpson's up there. I think Castellanos could be up there. Chandler Morse is going to have to be up there. Trinidad's going to have to be up there. Pavia as well, because these are guys that did not, okay, here's breaking news. Maybe I can make a video on it later or something. These are guys that did not get their 6th or 7th year of eligibility granted. So they have to declare for the draft. With how this game went, I don't think it necessarily tanked Moore's draft stock, because I think, I mean, if the Browns want to go get him, if the Cardinals want to go get him, if the Raiders want to go get him, they go get him, because I don't think it affects it too much. One thing I don't think we can deny after today's matchup is Mendoza's going number 1. I think that can't be denied, because right now he's sitting on the edge of Joe Burrow, Tim Tebow, Jameis Winston, Devontae Smith, receiver. He's sitting on the edge of that kind of history where you go undefeated, you win your conference, you win a bowl game. You know, you go undefeated, you win your conference, you win the Heisman, and you win the national championship. And to me, all those have the makings of this is why he should be the number 1 pick. Like, I don't think, and we're going to get to April, and there will be debates and talks about, okay, who's the number 1 overall guy? Who's the guy to get this draft? And we're going to have talks about it when there is no competition. We know who the number 1 guy is. Sorry, I'm messing with this. Still split 50-50 in the stream. Okay. But I think the other crazy thing, too, with how dominant the Hoosiers were tonight is the receiving core. Like, Becker didn't need to have a big game. Williams didn't need to have a big game. Surratt didn't need to have a big game. No, like, the game just naturally came to the Hoosiers, where everybody ate today. which that appears to be a reoccurring theme in a lot of these games as well. What else? Yes, Mendoza, absolutely phenomenal game today. I was a little curious as to why he kept playing. I mean, because again, they could have done a curtain call. They could have subbed him out. Because I mean, you look at the Purdue game, the Bama game, not the Big Ten because he played till the very last, and in the Big Ten championship game. Trying to think, not the Oregon game the first. No, not the Oregon game the first time, but Illinois. Who the frick did they play? Hold on, now I gotta freaking pull it up. Who the frick did they play? Maryland. Yes, it was the Maryland game. And the Wisconsin game. How could I forget? Where his brother went in, Alberto. So I thought that could have happened too, where he goes in, plays a little bit. Because, yeah, he played till the very end. And even McAfee on his stream was joking about what the hell is he still doing in their head. And then they would joke like, hey, we're still playing a football game, right? Like, it doesn't matter, spot the ball. Yeah, this is freaking impressive. 38-3, 56-22, 73-0, 63-10, 56-6, 55-10. So what is so crazy now when I'm looking back on these games is Penn State kept them close, Ohio State kept them close, Iowa kept them close, Oregon the first time kind of kept them close because again, Mendoza did throw that late game pick six that made it 20-20. Where, like, who's gonna beat these guys? And the last team that truly actually gave them a fight, right here, that Big Ten championship game. I'm telling you, this game was phenomenal too. We haven't talked about this game in a while, but this game was absolutely phenomenal. And again, not his best game statistically either. 1-1. Both QBs went 1-1. This one went down to the wire till the very end. It also took, which myself included, forgot. A lot of things had to go Indiana's way that game too, like a missed field goal, and a goal line stop too. So I would here we go. Let's play fun hypothetical here as we move to the national championship. If we have a situation where we're on the goal line, kind of like how we were the other day, Indiana's been able to get a goal line stop. Miami has also been able to get a goal line stop on the defensive side of the ball. So when you look at the offense, which offense would break first, Miami's or Indiana's? If it gets to a situation where we're on the goal line, you got to punch this in for a win. Because hell, who knows? No one knows. That's how this game could turn out and go. Because I mean, I think it's going to be a good one. It has the makings of a good one. It's got to be a good one. But we'll just see, guys. We'll just see. Be sure to let me know your thoughts or some other big standouts. I think Hemby also had a pretty good game too. It's going to be probably forgotten too, with just the amount of. I mean, when the game was out of reach, the way that Indiana kept sustaining drives with the run game too. Their offensive line was able to move Oregon all around. And just, again, whether it was Black or whether it was Hemby, like, they would get the first down and set up the situation where, okay, Mendoza's going to let this thing fly. What else happened in this game? Oh, see, I knew I had a little spotlight for Harris. But yeah, I don't think he got the ball in the second half once, but he did come up big for the Ducks there in the first half to kind of hold things to a minimum at least, because again, that game with as ugly as it was, it could have been a lot uglier. Because, yeah, interesting. Da, da, da. We talked about those. Okay, but yeah, guys, we're gonna end the stream here. People on the shorts, we're gonna do a hard out. So I'll see you guys in another stream.